Hey everybody, my name is Chris. I'm going to be recording an M15 Swiss draft. This is the first one of these I've recorded. First draft of any sort I've recorded, so bear with me. Our first pack, we have an obvious pick here, if for value, if nothing else for the tickets. Just taking a look at what we might pick in this pack if Garrick wasn't here. Also what we might be putting our opponents into. Best cards in the pack other than this are probably the Siege Worm. Krenko's Enforcer is pretty good. Covenant of Blood is good. The Void really wants to be in the right deck. If you're just using it to stall, it's not that great. But if you're using it to be able to keep beating someone down, it's pretty nice. These tricks, these Convoke tricks, I've been pretty impressed with just because, I think as the format goes on, people will play around them more and more. But this one and the Ephemeral Shields and the red first strike one all can kind of get people who just see you're tapped out. In any case, we're taking Garrick. First time I've gotten a draft of Garrick, so we will be looking to go green-black, obviously, if at all possible. Open our second pack here. And so our green and black cards are not that exciting. Runeclaw Bear is fine. Restock is fine. Make the Graves is fine. Best cards in this pack are pretty definitely the Constricting Sliver and the Illusory Angel. Looks like someone took a common, and it just seems like that's triplicate spirits so very often, although because I would think the Constricting Sliver or the Illusory Angel would go if it wasn't triplicate spirits. I guess it could be like a lightning strike. I'm going to take the Angel here. I know it's not on color, but if I just always want to take the best card for the first few picks and try to get a view on what's open. Black-green graveyard stuff has been kind of the new hot thing people are trying at M15, so if that's super cut, I don't want to end up trying to force it just for Garrick. I'll get the tickets for him anyway. I'd love to play him. So here we see some pretty decent blue cards and some good black and green cards. So there's a lot of good things. Gravedigger is a good card, but I think I'm just going to take the removal here. 5 mana for removal is 5 mana, but just killing anything is generally worthwhile. And as far as Garrett goes, if we can be in one of these colors, he's 7 mana, so playing him on the splash is not difficult, and we probably will if we end up, just in black. A little early to say what we're going to end up with here. There is only one white card left in this pack, but that's a little hard to make any assumptions about that this early. But the Flesh of Death still being here, the Gravedigger still being here, makes at least black look pretty open. Here we have Dissipate. Could think about that as a way to sort of stay alive long enough to cast Garrick if we end up being blue-black and splash the Garrick. Caustic Tar is a card that I've had it be effective against me. I've heard people like it. It just seems, 6 mana for a card that very often does nothing to turn you bring it into play and does nothing to stabilize your board. It seems like a lot to me. If you can stabilize the board, then sure, it's a win condition or it's a curve topper, with some reach and an aggressive deck. I think here I'm going to take the Sign in Blood though. If I do end up blue-black, Sign in Blood into Illusory Angel, I'm going to want some cheaper spells. The other option would be to Dissipate. I'm never that big of a fan of counters in Limited, possibly to my detriment. It's just I usually focus more on kind of curving out and hitting people. I've seen people like LSV draft. You see him put a much higher premium on counter spells and things like that, and obviously it can work. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know what I'm doing more than LSV does. But in any case, back to this pack, I think Necrogen Scudder is a pretty clear pick here. It's worth noting we now have 2 cards that are going to drain our life, but this thing is just quite powerful. As a 3/3 flyer for 3, it's possible that in a blue deck with a lot of bounce, you consider boarding it out, perhaps. Let's see. Here we have not too much. I think I drafted this once. I haven't really seen it played. I mean, it just seems like such a risk. Like, yeah, it can be really good if your thing doesn't get killed, but there's not all that many ways to prevent your thing from getting killed. So it's not something I'm desperate looking to go in on. So we have Ranger's Guile, which is in green. I might just take the Zoff Shade. It's not a super exciting card, but it's another creature, and it just lets you keep swinging. It's once you have some mana up, it's kind of hard for people to block. So black, again, does seem pretty open. Green does seem less so. I mean, we might just end up being pretty heavily black. Child of Night is obviously quite good here, especially because, again, we have the Illusory Angel, so the more cheap spells we can get, the better. Evolving Wilds is kind of a consideration, just to get us our splash, but I think I'm more interested in picking up the 2-drop here. So wow, red seems really open. This is quite late for Krenko's Enforcer, which is a very good card. It's not really what I want to be doing. I mean, it's not as good as the Illusory Angel. I don't know if I want 2 Signing Bloods. And the Sliver is good and the Torchfiend is good, but they're all right anyway. But the Enforcer is better than either of them. I think I'll take the Enforcer just in case red ends up being super open. I mean, that seemed quite odd how open it was there. Here I'll take the Necromancer's Assistant, just because we can end up in the green black kind of graveyard thing, although I don't think we saw any Satyr Wayfinders in that whole pack, so green at least seems quite cut. But if we end up with some black graveyard shenanigans, this helps enable them a bit, and you can usually pick up on Make the Graves pretty late, unless, of course, as I said, someone is going in on that graveyard deck. Willforge Golem would be another possibility. No, there's no Make the Graves, so maybe not as cut as all that. Which I'll go ahead and pick up here. I mean, I would like more ways to get things into my graveyard to really take advantage of it. Nothing terribly exciting here. We take the Belligerent Sliver, which is fine, or the Pillar of Light, which seems we're quite unlikely to play, really. Probably pretty unlikely to play either of these, but I'll take the Sliver. This is nothing. I'll take an Ornithopter, which I probably won't run, but it does let me drop a turn 3 Illusory Angel. I don't know. There was nothing else in that pack. I'm going to do my very best not to run Ornithopter. And whatever, it's not playable. And Mountain, which isn't making our deck. So let me set aside the cards I'm certainly not going to play. I'll set aside the red for now. If I do end up with some green, the Verdant Haven is quite possible to splash the Illusory Angel. Goblin Rabble Master. Well, now, oh man, look at all this. So we got the Rabble Master, which is fairly nuts. I mean, if that thing gets going, it just kills people really fast once it gets going, if you can get in a few unopposed swings. Strange, looks like we have some pretty aggressive things going on in our deck here. It's just like we don't know what color we are other than black, but we could be red. It's certainly not impossible for us to be red. We also have Stoke the Flames, which is also great. It's possible that's just the pick, to be honest. As much as I like the Rabble Master, removal is good. Nothing in green or black or blue is really all that exciting to me. Stoke the Flames or Rebel Master. I mean, I think, I mean, I still feel like, we're pretty much playing black, so we're pretty much going to play Garrick. So we want to be able to survive to Garrick, and, Stoke the Flames, if we end up in red, is the sort of thing that's going to let us get there. So let's put the red back in. And see what we have here. Well, here, so yeah, I mean, this is turning out to be a more aggressive deck than I was thinking of last thing. Has their Devouring Light, which is great, but I'm not jumping into white for it. Cursed Spirit, if we're just going to beat down, which is what it looks like this deck is going to end up doing, in black-red, probably don't even play the Angel. We'll see how things pan out here. Forge Devil in the crowd's favor are also pretty reasonable. But I think I just take the Spirit here. So, Reclamation Sage is good, but I think I'm sticking in red. The red seemed pretty open. Kind of surprisingly, early on in the format, red just was very heavily drafted. I do need some 2-drops if I am going to flirt with that Illusory Angel, obviously, but even if not, I still need some 2-drops. So we've got the Bloodseeker and the Marauder. I generally like the Marauder better. I mean, if I have like a bunch of Lightning Strikes and that aura that you can kill people with, whose name I'm totally blanking on. 2 mana, sack and a red to do 2 damage to shock something. Other possibilities is I could take the shock and get back into blue, but I really think that red is shown to be open. Rotfeaster Maggot is a possibility as well. I mean, that's quite a good card, but I just think I need the early drops. I feel like our deck is beating down, and I feel like this is just a better 2-drop than that one for where my deck is right now. So here we have Coral Barrier, but we're not really in blue anymore. We might splash the Illusory Angel, but I'm far from committed to that idea. Well, we just have the Blast Firebolt. Killing things is good. I'm hoping not to have to run 1s off Shade. I certainly don't want to run 2. I mean, Dauntless River Marshal is obviously the best card in the pack, but we're nowhere near running it. So yeah, I'll just take the Bolt. I don't mind running one of those. Certainly it's expensive, but hey, it kills nearly anything. Oh, Quickling. I like Quickling. Oh, an Undergo Scavenger. I could take the, what's the tomb worth anyway? No, not even a ticket. All right, not gonna worry about that. Yeah, I mean I think we're pretty set on black here. So it's either the Necromancer's Assistant or the Witch's Familiar. I don't like having a lot of 1 toughness things necessarily. And I'm not doing too much with the graveyard. So here we have, I could take the Shadowcloak Vampire. I mean, that's a decent card. I kind of think I just want to take the Evolving Wilds, though, because I want to make sure we can splash Garrick. And I feel like we have enough going on early that we can live without a Shadowcloak, and those things do tend to go reasonably late. So I'll take the Wilds here. And there's our Satyr Wayfinder. But I think we are pretty well committed to red at this point. So we do have an Unmake the Graves, so it's possible. Necromancer's Resistant. I mean, Black Cat is okay. I mean, if I was in blue and there's running the Illusory Angel or I had some Convoke things, I might be more prone to take it. best cards in the pack are certainly Frostlinks and Welkin Turn, Satyr Wayfinder if you're in that specific deck. So here's the Necromancer Stockpile, which I don't think is a very good card. That thing's just a frog, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't really think that's a very good card, and I'm certainly not set up for it. Could take another Involving Wilds. I don't think I really want two of them, though. So, I mean, I only have two 2-drops, and if I do want to be aggressive, we'll take another one. I'm going to put this one Thoughter in the sideboard, since that's where it really belongs. Well, nothing really here other than Evolving Wilds. I don't know if I'm going to run two of them, but I don't know if splashing Illusory Angel and Garruk is a wee bit optimistic. It probably is, but there's nothing else here I'm going to run, so I'll take it. I don't think I have enough graveyard shenanigans to go double and make the graves. I'm not really. I might just. This one might end up in the sideboard anyway. If we're to have like an aggressive deck that just randomly has Garruk, if it gets there, which isn't exactly how I design a deck around Garruk, but this just seemed to be what was open, and he's powerful enough. I'm just going to run him. I'll take the Miner's Bane, which, you know, in the aggressive deck is totally fine. I can't sort of wonder what happens if I stick to blue. I'm going to take the Divination. I don't think I'm going to play it. I don't have any plans to play two Miner's Banes, but there you go. Jeez, another Necromancer's Assistant. I mean, that's not a great card, but it's not bad. Doesn't die to Festergloom. I could use. I wouldn't mind a Festergloom. Speaking of Festergloom, all right. So let's put the lines on the sideboard for now, so we can see what's really in our deck here. So. So I'm certainly not running a Divination. I mean, probably not running the Illusory Angel. Oh, Spirit Bonds. Oh, Triplicate Spirits. So now we've covered the best cards in the pack that I'm not going to take. But what I am going to take, so the Rotfeaster Maggot, which is quite good. The 3/5 just stops anything. I mean, my deck is kind of trying to beat down, so it's not great for it, but really a 3/5 can swing in almost anything. However, we do have some removal here, and it's also life gain, which is nice since I do have a Sign in Blood and a Necrogen Scudder, and, you know, killing things is good. So Covenant of Blood, it is. Yeah, and I think that Illusory Angel is a bit optimistic. An illusion, if you will, as Doug Henson, or LSV, would say. I have no idea if people get my insight. Ooh, Mass Calcify. So we'll want to remember that that exists. We have a Lightning Strike, which is what we're going to take. Boy, if I had stuck with the blue, some pretty good stuff here. Wall of Frost is going to be really annoying against my deck. It's a really annoying card in general. Maybe this thing here will probably wheel. It might be the only thing worth taking in the pack, so maybe I'll get that for the sideboard, although I don't know if I'd run it if the only thing in the deck was a Wall of Frost. But anyway, Lightning Strike is certainly the thing here. Remember, there's a Mass Calcify out there somewhere. We play someone who has white. So, I mean, we have like no 5-drops. We have 1 6-drop, and I mean, Garruk isn't really a creature, but he makes creatures, so it's possible we want to grab a 5 here. And I think, I mean, the Blood Host just seems like, you know, there's any bounce, he just gets kind of screwed. Really, it's mostly, you know, there's nothing to steal someone's stuff other than Might Makes Right, but that's insanely optimistic. So I could just take the Vampire, or I could take the Marauder. I'm kind of leaning towards the Vampire. I actually feel like I want a way to get Sing in the air. Ooh, well, oh geez, wow. When it rains, it pours. I would like a Fester Gloom, as I said, but I'm not taking it over either of these. So, man. So we've got a 4/4 flyer that lets me fetch up an artifact I don't have, but I don't really care about that. Mostly it's a 4/4 flyer for 5, which is quite excellent. I have a Stab Wound, which is removal and a win condition. Boy, that is tough. I would like either of those. Boy. Looks like our colors are going to be open coming from this direction. I have a Lightning Strike to remove stuff early. I think I'm going to take the dragon. Might be a mistake. Another Child of Night. And really very little else. Wall of Limbs isn't really a thing. I mean, I guess it goes kind of well with the Child of Nights, but it's like 7 mana to maybe kill something. I don't know. It just seems this deck is not looking to be that slow anyway. So it's another 2-drop. Well, I said I wanted a Fester Gloom, and now I have one. I like to main deck a Fester Gloom, to be honest, because it kills what's probably the, it's really good against what's probably the best deck in the format, which is the white tokens. And it's almost never useless. And in this deck particularly, where it seems like I'm going to be, heavier black, it seems like it could be quite good. Here I'm just going to take the Phyrexian Revoker. It's just, Bronze Sable with upside. I get to, shut off something or guess a thing to shut off. That's always good. Oop, okay, well, we just got the rest of our deck drafted for us. What do we end up with? Anything that we're going to play? It doesn't look like we got the Blood Host. I think I'm going to play it. Alright, well, let's get all this stuff out of here. That. Oh, we got a Rough Rider. Oh, that's not bad. I'll hang on to the Rough Rider, maybe. So get rid of the Belligerent Sliver. I'll probably take the Rough Rider over one of the Necromancer's Resistance. I don't think I want the Blood Host. Maybe I can see a way to get it out of the board, but I'm not entirely sure what that way is. So that's got us at 23 with 2 Evolving Wilds, which I think I want just because, I mean, I want to run mostly black, but I have 3 spells. I take double red, although this one can Convoke, and I want, one, now I can just put in 1 forest and be just fine with it. I guess I have to be a little careful that, one problem with having 2 Necromancer's Resistance is if I mill the forest, then I'm in kind of big trouble. So I'll have to be a little circumspect about when I play those. I wonder, is that a reason to not run them? If I didn't run them, I probably don't unmake the Graves either. What do I run instead? Probably the Belligerent Sliver, which is nah. If I had an Inferno Fist, that would make it a bit better. If a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his ass when he hopped. And I could try the Illusory Angel thing, but I don't know. Splashing 2 splashes seems optimistic. Greedy, if you will. Yeah, I think I'll stick with this. So what have we got here? So as I said, we have mostly black. Gonna add 15 lands. What do you say, Moto? Moto says 9 black, 1 green. That's what I was thinking. 5. See, I think I want. That's still 10 black sources. 8 red sources seems acceptable. I guess the Krenko's Enforcer is really the only thing that's really possibly awkward there. If we'll play someone with red, we'll probably just put in the Sliver instead, I think. Oh, wait. Okay, so let's add that. I think I wanted to run this soft shade. I don't think I want another high drop though. If I was going to sub out the Zoff shade, I'd probably just put in the Sliver. And yeah, I think that the Zoff shade's got to be better than the Sliver. I mean, the Sliver is just a 2/2. I don't have any auras or anything exciting to attach to it. It's just a 2/2 that has a little bit of evasion, but once it doesn't have evasion, it's almost certainly just dead. Whereas a Zoff shade, if the game goes long, it's a 2/2, but they can't really block it because then it could just become a 6/6. So this deck seems okay. I'm not all that excited about it. Oh, that's what I'm missing. Where's my? Wait a minute. Where's my Phyrexian Revoker? I am nonplussed. But alright, we're going to run with this. I'll figure out how I managed to not draft a Phyrexian Revoker. I will blame the fact that I was talking through the whole thing for the first time. And I guess this is when you say, I'll see you in round 1.